Oh no.
And we are live. Welcome everyone to your favorite truck driver in the ex-truck driver in the whole wide world, Bitcoin Ben. My friends, my voice is never going to heal. Ever, 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 ever. And this is why. I drove sick. What? Has nothing to do with smoking. That is a myth.
Yeah.
Spreading those lies. Hey, in the 60s and 50s, 9 out of 10 doctors recommended Pall Mall.
Right. And the other one recommended Chesterfield. Yeah.
Yeah. And all of those guys, they died. Oh my God. No, it's yesterday I drove 16 hours from St. Louis to Florida. Probably, and this is not exaggerating, probably 9 of those hours I was on the phone with someone. When I got home, my voice was so shot, my dog wouldn't even listen to me. Oh, yeah, including swinging over to Nashville, looking at a location over in Nashville, having a conversation with a few of the Nashville future owners on locations. Is there such thing as a voice transplant?
No.
Damn it. No. They got everything else. You can get new eyes. You can get, a new heart. But you can't get a couple of little pieces of whatever.
No. You have to stop the abuse. You have to stop the cycle of abuse.
Quit it with your logic and your common sense, Patrick. Good Lord, give me a pill. All right.
Yeah. Better living through chemicals. I know.
Exactly. Okay, welcome everyone. I, of course, am Bitcoin Ben, and I'm wearing one of our new FGTV hats. These things are sweet. And Patrick and I just make sure. Hey, Patrick, we have an announcement, right?
That is correct.
Okay, all right. We have an announcement for CALIX. What do we got, Patrick?
We have some new services that we're offering. There are 3 of them. One of them is called Cyber Stuff, where you can go and sign up, get a subscription to videos that are going to be produced on a weekly basis. We're going to do a half-hour video every week. And it's going to talk about primarily safety, but there are going to be some other things that get included in there. Those will be archived and in the portal. So if you get the service, you'll have access to that. The other one is called Helpline. And so if you have any issues with any technical issues that are outside of the hardware operation of your laptop, although we can probably opine on that, will help you out. How do I set up my laptop in order to get T fuel by staking on Gpool, that sort of a thing.
Yeah.
Hey, I need some help when it comes to getting set up on the Tor network. Can you guys advise me on this? Where should I be going? Those kinds of regular everyday questions. We have a live chat that you can post to. It's not going to be manned 24/7. It'll be mostly during the business hours. But if we're not there, we'll get to you within 24 hours and get you an answer. And then there's what we call CALIX 360. And let me back up. That helpline incorporates the earlier tier of cyber stuff. So you'll be getting access to those videos, as well as being able to utilize the live chat. And that live chat it crosses lines. If you have the Liberty laptop, you'll be able to ask the questions about that. You'll also be able to ask questions about the crypto laptop. So it's not, we're not separated. And then the third service that's available is called CALIX 360, which Ben and I are going to do 1 hour Ask Me Anything, probably on Thursdays or Fridays. We're not quite sure on setting that yet. And again, those particular events will be archived, so you can go and look them up at a later date if you weren't available. But you'll be able to participate by way of the chat, to throw questions out and ask us about anything and everything. So that's that. We're excited about this. We've been working on it for a while. Yeah, we're kicking it off. So
yeah, this is the reason that we are launching these services is because, and I'm going to give you examples. The crypto world does not have a 911 service. All right. Like, hey, I need help with this. Hey, what about this? Hey, what about this? And we have so many people who call us after the fact, all right, and say, do you actually want to talk about that one guy who called you?
I'll allude to it, but we're actually going to talk about it in the CALIX side of this show.
Okay.
You go to the CALIX YouTube channel, but somebody's had 2 treasures, and it didn't end well.
No.
And it wasn't tied to our laptop. It was just, hey, we got corrupted on our old machine, compromised that way. Horses out of the barn, and I believe me, my heart breaks for him and his wife and anybody who goes through this stuff. It is just, but we all know that there are predators out there. There are soulless bastards who will take anything and everything that's in their path, and don't give a hoot. But we also know that karma is an undefeated motherfucker.
Yes, it is.
And she has razor sharp teeth and a perfect memory. So come Judgment Day, they'll have a front row seat in hell.
Yeah, it's we hear about them all the time after the fact. Hey, Ben, blah, 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 this. Can you help us with this? Well, we never had a structure in place that someone could reach us quickly or relatively pretty quick in an emergency or in a, hey, I got this email. What the hell is this? You know, what should I do? These services are your 911 to CALIX, because we have to have it structured so we are dealing with our clients and our viewers and the general, public through a secure manner so you guys know it's us. The only thing we can control is our website. That's it. And we've had problems in the past where, hey, I thought that somebody sent me an email from something and this and that and that. This way, because it's directly through our website, you know it's us. And that's why we had to create this. There's no crypto 911. Well, now there is. And that way you guys can feel secure. All right. I double dog dare one of you guys to call Coinbase's hotline right now.
Yeah, you're not getting through for one.
Yeah. Send them an email. Send Coinbase, send Kraken, send any exchange, or especially Trezor. Good luck getting a return from that. We as a leader in the industry, right? We have to set an example for others in the industry. And we have to have trusted places that people can go. And because retail crypto is a snake pit. It is absolutely a snake pit. It's why we launched the crypto laptop, right? It's why now we also know the government is a swamp. Hence, we launched the LIBERY laptop. We have to protect our own communities, but we have to do it in a manner that you guys know you're talking to us. Patrick and I talked about this and said, all right, what levels should we offer so that if you just want general information, it's this level. If you want question and answers, it's this level, plus general information. The higher levels, the top level gets everything, right, Patrick?
That's correct.
Right. So literally, for a little bit a month, you get access to everything we have currently and everything we're putting out content wise in the future. This, folks, I don't know if you can tell, but there's a lot of entities against cryptos right now. And most of the bad actors are from the government. Right? The more we find out about FTX, boy, it sure does seem like the government kind of set that up to screw everybody and then funnel money to the elected officials.
$93 million worth.
Right. And then collapse it on all of the retail people and some corporate people.
And now come out with legislation in order to regulate it.
Yeah.
Not only that, here's the bigger question. The government, Gensler the SEC filed a lawsuit against Richard Hart.
Oh, I saw that.
And Hex, and is passionately pursuing these charges. Where in God's name was he with SBF and FTX?
Yeah.
Where were you? And how many people could you have saved from destruction, financial destruction, if you had applied that same level of tenacity to FTX?
Well, he couldn't do that.
Because you knew Elliott.
Bingo.
That's why this bullshit happened.
Yep.
You let friends fuck citizens.
Yep. Because the daughter of Gary Gensler's ex-boss at MIT and close friend, they have pictures together on Facebook, because she ran the real schemey part of FTX. Well, we're not going to go after them. We're going to wait till they funnel a bunch of money over to the Democrats. Then, when it's all said and done, what we're going to do is we're going to have him in the Bahamas, right? Well, see, here's the little get out of jail free card that Sam has in his pocket that everyone knew they would not extradite him until they had a list of the charges. And because of the extradition agreement with the Bahamas, they're limited to what they can charge Sam with. All right. Also, see, this is also damn crooked. Did you see the announcement of who signed a contract with Bitcoin Conference on who's gonna be their sponsor, their their title sponsor for the next 7 years. They signed that either a 7 or a 4-year deal.
I didn't see it, but I'm going to guess BlackRock.
Nope.
Okay.
NASDAQ.
No kidding.
Yep.
No
The
kidding.
people that own NASDAQ are going to be the title sponsor for Bitcoin 2024 and the next 4 after that.
And who are the folks that own NASDAQ? Don't they have ties to the New York Stock Exchange?
Oh yeah, they own it.
It's that couple, isn't it?
Friedman on
Is it Barry or Benny?
The gal who ran for office and Trump supported.
Yeah. She was out of, was it Tennessee?
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Yes, yeah.
Then when she got to Washington, she was all pro Trump. Then January 3rd, she shoved a knife in Trump's back. Good and deep.
Yeah. The night of the long knives. The night of the long knives. It was Georgia. It was Georgia. Yeah.
See, this is all connected, folks. If you don't think BlackRock's ETF is going to get approved, you've lost your ever-loving mind. See, I've been telling you guys for the last how many shows have I came on here and said, guys, there's groups of bankers and groups of people in New York, London, Dubai, all over that are buying up Bitcoin. You're selling your Bitcoin to rich people that are going to hodl it forever. And they're going to create a global lending structure using Bitcoin as the collateral against every other currency in the world. How do you lock in being the richest people in the world? You collect all the Bitcoin while you're throwing out FUD, while you're crashing the market, you're shaking all the little guys out. And then once you've shooken them as much as you could shake them, you shake them a little bit more. Then you grab Coinbase, you grab Kraken, you grab every public exchange, you shoo away Binance. You get all the exchanges and you tell Brian Armstrong, hey, we're going to have the people filing for the ETFs use your custody service. All you have to do is get rid of all the other coins on Coinbase. Thank you, Anna. Thank you. And that's all you got to do. That's just, and then these charges go away. And that's it, Brian. Think about it, Brian. You're already wealthy. You don't want to go through all this trouble, Brian. Then once we make this little agreement, You hang out for 6 months or so. BlackRock comes in, picks up a majority of the shares. We put you on the board in the future. BlackRock takes over Coinbase. All's well with the world. Come
Yeah,
on, B.
he's not doing that. He's not doing that.
I hope not.
Yeah. Well, the other thing too is he has a decision. It was adjudicated in favor of Ripple.
Yeah,
So you can't come out from a regulatory position and mandate that all other coins are securities when in fact the court decided that that was not the case with Ripple.
I, I'm
And
going to make a prediction. Trump, before the election, is going to come out pro Bitcoin. Watch, folks. Watch and see. Hang on a second. Let me shrink this. Where is the official historian of the Bitcoin Ben show? Rick, back me up on this, brother. I said, and if they wouldn't have gotten rid of my YouTube channel, I could prove this. I did a video 4 years ago. The headline of the video was Bitcoin will be the last weapon against the deep state. And because I knew it would come down to the currency. All right. Joe Biden and Gary Gensler and all these guys in government, they are getting they're trying to control Bitcoin and cryptos as much as they can. But Bitcoin itself is slipping through their fingers. They cannot get a hold of it. So the players in the economic system are seeing them lose control. Thank you, Rick. Yes, sir. And you've said it all along. Trump is not anti-Bitcoin. Bingo. Why do you think all the other Republicans are screaming from the mountaintops? Bitcoin, Bitcoin, because they know that Bitcoin, it removes the power of the global governance system.
not only that, it undermines U.S. senators on the Democratic side. There are too
Yes,
many.
it does.
There are too many of them that are all for this regulatory move that's being pushed. Now, on the other hand, there's something out of the House that looks pretty damn good from a crypto perspective.
Yes. Yes. See, Trump is not anti-Bitcoin. Trump, that would be like Trump being anti-gold. Trump's not anti-gold. Trump is pro-America. And what's going on right now is what I talked about last week. Oh, We got, hang on one second. All right, everyone watching on YouTube, there's a link under here. We are jumping from here over to the CALIX YouTube channel. So I'm going to drop you guys here. Come over to the CALIX YouTube channel. But right now, word from the sponsor.
Are you buying and selling cryptos on the same laptop that you're using to browse the internet, read your email, and visit social media sites? If so, you're exposing your cryptos to theft. Whenever you're online, you're at risk of getting hacked and having your identity stolen. How would you feel if someone stole all of your cryptos? What would that do to your finances? Guard your cryptos with a safe and secure laptop from CALIX Solutions. Each laptop is set up just for you and your cryptos, and then we walk you through exactly how it works. Don't risk the security of your cryptos. Order a crypto laptop from CALIX Solutions now to secure your crypto future. Learn more at calixsolutions.io.
All right, everyone watching on YouTube, click the link under here for the CALIX Solutions YouTube, or just search CALIX Solutions. Will pop up right there. Everyone else, hang on. We don't have to stop, drop, and roll. We just have to switch, boom, boom, and we just keep going. Let me do this, and we do that, and then we save changes. Yeah, all right, we are now on the CALIX YouTube channel and the rest of our channels. Right now, once we wrap up with about a half hour, 45 minutes of this conversation, which we will have a tinkle break in there someplace. Me and Patrick talked about that earlier. But this is why we created the service. Folks, if you don't realize what's going on, either we lead the industry or they do. BlackRock is trying to take it over. NASDAQ trying. The old system is now ready to infiltrate Bitcoin. Now, prices are going to skyrocket in Bitcoin. That's why I tell everyone, hold on to your alts. Don't get rid of your divvy. Don't get rid of your alts. But if you're buying fresh, buy Bitcoin. Because it's gonna. You have to think about this seriously, folks. Number one, we're less than a year away from the halving. We're about to get an ETF. I think it's like 21 companies have now filed for an ETF. And one, I can't remember the guy's name, was on CNBC yesterday. This is like some big wiggity wig guy. He said, because he knows he runs ETFs. He said in the next 2 to 3 years, he could easily see $30 trillion go into the Bitcoin market. $30 trillion. And that's just from American ETFs. Did you know that globally there's $960 trillion worth of economic representation, monetary representation out there? $960 trillion.
Wow.
If Bitcoin gets 1% of that, that's $9.6 trillion. Think about that. Check my numbers on that, Patrick. I'm pretty
You're right.
I'm pretty close. Think about that. All right. 5% would be 9 times 5. That's 45, right? Yeah. 9 times 5 is 45. Right? That's 45. Wait. No, that's $45 trillion if Bitcoin gets 5%. Now, you take $45 trillion and you divide it by 17 million. That's how many Bitcoin are usable. They say there's about 5 million that are lost or frozen or haven't moved. Or now some, all right, so let's say there's 18 million Bitcoin that are liquidly available. Right now, I'm just using numbers. My point is this: that's a lot of money per Bitcoin. I don't even know what that would be. Somebody do the calculations. Just off of 5% of the global monetary value, that would put Bitcoin at a $45 trillion market cap. How much is that if there's 18 million Bitcoin available? I don't know, but I bet it's a lot. You know how many, like a trillion seconds ago is? There were dinosaurs walking around a trillion seconds ago. All right, Chris, you smart ass. It's hilarious listening to him talk numbers. It's the equivalent of a retard doing trigonometry. I said, carry the 7. Yeah. Right. See, like I said, a trillion seconds, 32,728 years. Yep, There were definitely dinosaurs back then. One of them is our co-host here.
I was riding them.
I bet you looked amazing in your fucking
My
cloth.
woolly mammoth loincloth.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that would be me. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And this was before the time that we had dinosaur juice. There wasn't
That's
a
right.
at that point. Right.
We have Edward who says that's $2.5 million per Bitcoin. Thank you, sir. That's my point. Folks, those that, now we got a different number. It's a battle of the numbers. Point is this, it's a lot per Bitcoin.
No, Lenny just took it down $1 million.
Oh, Lenny, always a downer. No.
No, he's just looking for the discount rate.
Yeah. So if I buy 2 of them, can I get a little something off it?
Yep. No, it's not how this works.
No. My point is, those of you and those of us who hold like 0.1 Bitcoin, and we're looking at it sad. I only got 0.1 Bitcoin. Do you realize how much that's gonna be worth in the future? This is why I tell people we are in a battle, folks. These crypto laptops, what you're looking at on your laptop right now is not what your Bitcoin's gonna be worth in 5 years. The job of your crypto laptop is to protect. Think about this, folks. This is why we launched the service. This is why we've got the crypto laptop. How many scams? How heavy are the scams going to get when Bitcoin is $250,000? It's pandemonium now. And freaking Bitcoin's only at 30 grand. There are people right now, their full-time job is to try and rip you off. Patrick hears about it all the time. That's why do you think he's so focused on security? Why do you think we're so focused on security? Not because right now you hold 6 grand worth of Bitcoin. Mind you, 6 grand's a good chunk of money. But in 5 years, that 6 grand is going to be worth what? 300,000 or whatever the hell it was, $210,000. Your laptop is there to survive the next 5 years of keeping your friggin' Bitcoin separate from everything else. It's your crypto safe. See, Patrick back me up on this, then I'm going to let you roll with it because I'm going to go tinkle. Then you can go tinkle after me, okay?
I have a coffee can. I'm good.
Oh, all right. We remember a few years ago when we launched, I think we're on our third year now, when we launched CALIX Solutions, all we heard was, I got my treasure. I don't need no stinking laptop. I got my treasure.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
I had people that were like, all I need is this little piece of plastic right here. I'll plug it right into my laptop and I'll get my cryptos right there. Right now. Don't need no damn laptop. How'd that work out for all the people with treasures?
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Folks, you got to take this seriously. Right? And Ledger, my friends, Ledger may not have been compromised this time, but Ledger and Trezor, there's a reason they sound alike. It's basically the same damn code. They were always chasing each other. Well, they're going to run each other right off the fucking cliff.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. To that point, as we alluded to in the earlier conversation about the safety issue, we have a client who had 2 treasures, and they were compromised. And they were compromised through malware. In the beginning of this year, there was a scam that took place, and there were SMS messages being sent out telling people that there's recently been a security breach at Trezor, and that you should assume that all of your assets are vulnerable. In order for you to follow the proper security procedures and to secure your assets, you need to go to this particular link. And people clicked on it and downloaded the fix. Well, the fix actually turned out to be malware. And these guys have the patience of death. They'll just sit there and wait. They'll work one person at a time. And which is exactly what they did. And it was within the last 2 weeks that both of his treasures were emptied. I don't know where he got the treasures from. That's always another thing too. Some people will buy these on Amazon as opposed to going to the manufacturer to buy them. In the end, it really doesn't matter where you're buying them from, but I wouldn't buy one from Amazon because they can be counterfeited. There have been schemes where people have received the treasures or the ledgers, and they have been provided with PINs and passwords, thinking that this was what they would use in order to safeguard it. Well, they have everything they need to get into that Trezor or that ledger, because you're using it based on the way that they have preset that piece of hardware. They've probably put some hologram tape over it to make it look secure. And then You go to Trezor.io and get the suite loaded, or you go through Ledger Live. You interface with the exchange that you're going to purchase from or with the device. And these guys can get in there and see what's going on, because it's not on the device. It's on the blockchain.
All right, Chris, I appreciate what you're saying. Get it from Trezor.io. No need to scare people. Chris, what we're saying is this. You have a Trezor. You still have to hook up to a laptop to use the Trezor.
That's not the only thing. That's not the only thing. I think he's missing one of the fundamental points that I made there, and that there are scammers out there that are suggesting that you need to go to this particular site to update your security procedures.
Yeah.
And that went right over his head, because it didn't matter whether they got it at Trezor.io or if they got it at Amazon or their dead brother-in-law left it for them. The fact of the matter is there's bullshit out there in the way of software that people have written, malware, that allows them to get in and find out what the fuck you have on there.
Yep. It's
Am I passionate about this? I'm not quite sure.
Yeah. And let him explain why he's passionate about this. Tell him about the conversation you just had with a guy a couple days ago.
I did. I did while you were out. Yeah.
$500,000.
We don't talk numbers. We don't talk Fight Club. No. Yes. I don't identify people. I don't identify where they came from. I don't. It's
right.
It was bad.
It's bad. Right.
It's always bad. It's always bad.
This is what we hear a lot, way too often.
Yeah, and you know what? And we, but to the point that you just made, I mean, we identified what the dollar amount was, and then that would be devastating for anybody. But in reality, there are people out there that don't have two nickels to rub together and have gotten into this. And because it's the wild, wild west, and we have to be our own sheriff, and we have to protect ourselves from any potential vulnerability, $500 is too much for them to lose, for anybody to lose. And the underlying issue is being compromised by some soulless son of a who decides that he's going to take your stuff.
Yeah. It's the only thing I know for a fact is this. If you get a crypto-only laptop from CALIX, and you follow the instructions that we give you, you're good. You're good. You just have to understand that you have to take this seriously, folks. We all know where this is going. We all know cryptos are the future. No one can. We are so beyond Bitcoin's a scam. We are so beyond that now. And we are into, you've got to plan for, you guys are early adopters. Like I said, if you have 0.1 Bitcoin, you're gonna be good. Now, you have to plan out and be sure that you are, and I'm not trying to frighten people. Telling people to prepare is not frightening them. It's helping people understand this. But I got fished about an exit breach. I deleted it immediately, as you should. Exodus does not have your email address.
No wallet does.
No wallet does, except Coinbase. But it's not really a wallet. All right. This and these services we're offering, folks, please understand what we're building. We are building CALIX solutions into the place you go for everything you need with your cryptos, and as much as we can help on the general liberty of your digital life. That's what we're trying to build, because we know either we do it or they're going to do it. Did you, God, what was it? I heard it yesterday. Did you hear how the FBI announced that China could attack our electrical and even personal computers because of the malware on the chips? Oh, what? Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, why do you think that they had to shut down the F-22 fighters?
Yes.
They also had to bring in a shitload of ships. The Navy had to reconfigure because of the motherboards were made in China, and they were shutting them down. Yeah. Oh, hello. Yeah, McFly.
The whole federal government. All right.
Yeah, but we can't open up a chip plant here. No.
Well, that's what's in the Inflation Control Act or whatever horseshit they called it. They literally, in that legislation, is money to open chip corporations here in America.
Supposedly in St. Louis, they're talking about one being open.
I hope so. St. Louis needs some damn jobs. Anheuser-Busch is about to go out of business.
Well, you got that tranny water. Nobody's drinking it.
Yeah. So the FBI announces, odds are your laptop is corrupted at the microchip level. No shit. Well, gee, genius. Thanks for fucking letting us know. Hence the Liberty laptop. My friends, we have to move towards digital independence. Everyone's like, oh, are we oil independent? Are we oil independent? What else have you heard? What's the new oil? Information. Information is the new oil.
Information doesn't mean jack shit. It's the ability to use information that's critical. I mean,
Yeah.
you can have buckets of information laying at your feet. If you don't know how to dissect it and spit it out, yeah, it's worthless.
Yeah.
I like that though. Information is the new oil. Yeah.
It is, folks. I'm telling, and hopefully we're gonna, we are doing our best. And I want within the next 2 years, I want to have a CALIX Solutions computer. That's ours, that we build. Now look at Patrick shaking his head. I don't know how we're going to do it yet, but I'm going to fucking figure it out. Because we have to, folks. Either we protect ourselves from this new system, or the system is going to roll over us. Right? There's so much I've said in the past because it was obvious. Did you hear Wyoming's about this close to launching their own digital currency? They just passed the legislation yesterday.
One of the most progressive states in the union relative to cryptocurrency, finances, individual privacy, protection. You check out the stuff that you can do in Wyoming in terms of protecting yourself and your assets, you'd be surprised.
Yep.
You'd be surprised.
It is. See, there are people who they don't have a clue what's coming. All right. Everything is gonna be packed up by Bitcoin and land and real assets like gold and Bitcoin and land and oil rights and all this. The fiat system is dying. Now, Wyoming, and I've heard this so many times, well, states can't launch their own dollars. That is true. According to the Constitution, they cannot launch their own money. Money is not currency. They're different. Money is a decentralized commodity, or store of value. Right? That's why America was founded with silver as its money. Defined as a certain amount of silver and made into coinage, because the silver was the money. The coinage was the branding of the country, showing the silver as an asset of the country. So, right, Wyoming cannot launch its own money. But what it can do is launch a derivative of the money called currency. As long as they hold the asset, the money, and make it exchangeable. See, I've said this in the past, folks. We are going to the monetary system that we had pre-Revolutionary War. It's the Confederacy. Trump has dropped hints at it's because the only reason that we dropped the Confederacy, which had its own president, one of them being a black man, boy, what they were so racist. The reason we went from the Confederacy into the Republic was currency. That's it. The states were limited in trade because of the currency couldn't saturate far enough and wide enough to have a functioning large economy. And so they said, well, we got to do something else, guys. All right. So what we do? We came up with the republic structure and created the federal government for money. The original founding fathers set up the federal government as a ledger. That's it. They were a ledger of property amongst the states, and they launched the money that the states would work with, the coinage. That's, if we would have had digital dollars or digital currencies we probably wouldn't have a constitution. But now Wyoming can launch its own currency, and California can launch its own currency. Florida can launch its own currency. That's why Florida passed the bill, no CBDCs in Florida, because Florida, once this shit show's over, is going to launch its own currency, actually based on the assets of Florida. And because of the Lightning Network and segregated witness, if you understand what the fuck that means, that the digital currency of the states can atomically swap inside of a wallet in real time with Bitcoin and Litecoin. See, right now we're just talking about Bitcoin. Give it 10 years on Litecoin. Litecoin's gonna fuck a bunch of shit up for Bitcoin. But that's not really, because at that point, no one will be selling any Bitcoin. it will only gain value. And Litecoin, because it has segregated witness, will run on the Lightning Network and be the second most valuable network on the Lightning Network. My friends, I'm telling you right now, it's all good. We just got to get through this shit show of control and centralization and get on the other side. And but you have to take your security seriously for the rest of your life. Whether you like it or not, CALIX Solutions is going to be part of your life for the rest of your life. Because as this shit show happens, all these other, you're going to have corporations, these big mega corporations, get your crypto laptop, get your crypto laptop. And me and Patrick are going to look at him and go, oh, look how cute. Just joining the party, are you? Well, crypto laptop is trademarked, so fuck you. This is, right, Chris says, like Miami coin, not structured the same way. These are all going to run on the Lightning Network. And probably one other network called Liquid. But I digress. That's irrelevant. Everything we need to build up we need to change how we live. We have been slaves so long. And when I say slaves, most of it we chose. Remember when you were younger and you got your first bank account and boy, you thought you was a shit because you gave them money and they gave you these little paper checks. And you thought you were the shit. Well, you didn't know that you were really just giving them a piece of paper and they were giving you a piece of paper and a whole bunch of paper was flying around and everyone was just getting screwed. That's changing, folks. Self-custody is the future. Now, there will be some people that have, crypto banks like Caitlin Long is launching. But that's a one-for-one honest bank. Do you know she got rejected for a master account with the Federal Reserve? You know why they rejected her? Because she was a one-to-one bank. They said, no. You have to do fractional reserve. Fractional reserve is a weakness in a bank. We want to be one-to-one. Nope. 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 Oh. So your stance is you must be crooked to be part of our system. You can't be honest. This is such a shit show. Yeah. But yes, she should have just launched a state bank and been done with it. But she's in it for the long haul. She wanted the fight because she knows she'll win. Because when they rejected her, that the rejection actually gave her rights to see the other members that had gained approval and how they did it. That's why, and Patrick, look this up. That's why the Federal Reserve on a Friday afternoon released the full list of their master account holders. 30 to 40% of them are not qualified to have an account. 12 of we're talking companies that aren't even banks. Ford, Chevy, Coca-Cola. All of these friggin' companies, they're not even banks. But yet they could request liquidity from the emergency window of the Fed. Boy, that'd be a nice little perk, wouldn't it? Yeah, we're a little short this month. Let's go over to the 0% interest window. It's literally a shit show. Please, guys, as we move forward, understand that we're here for you. Sign up for our new services and have the peace of mind that you can reach out and get a hold of us, and we're going to be putting out content every week, right? And we're going to be doing it on a private server, right? It's not going to be through YouTube, because this is going to be talking and answering questions that I don't want anyone out on YouTube looking at who's in the chat and going, I'm going to reach out to them and I'm going to do all that. This is on a private server. And for anyone saying, well, why can't you just do this for free, Ben? You know how much a private server costs? It ain't cheap. You know how much keeping a website is, and keeping the security features and all that on a website? Folks, anytime you get something for free, you're the product. Right?
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Why was Facebook free for so many years? Why? And then people give Elon shit. Well, why ain't it free? Because he's not making you the product anymore. He's creating a service now. Folks, click the link or go to our website. Patrick, where can they reach it? Reach you and everything CALIX.
You can reach me at 702-845-8276 or info@calixsolutions.io. And the website is calixsolutions.io. Everything is there and in full display. We have descriptions of the services.
Yep.
Within the cybersecurity portion of the it's a cyber suite portion of the website. Excuse me. You're able to go in there and read about the different services and what they provide. So, and if you have any questions, feel free to either call me or send me an email.
Yep. Choose which one's right for you, and voila, we're off and running, folks. You're covered. Right? Patrick, do you want to hop over and like do another hour, or do you have?
No, we can do that. We can do that.
All right, cool. All right,
I'm going to run and powder my nose. I have to powder my nose.
All right, here, there we go. All right, we are going to jump off of all of the channels except my what do you call it? Substack and Patreon. So click the link under here, go over to Substack or Patreon, and I will meet you guys there. All right? Or we will, once Patrick comes back. Everyone else, I'll see you tomorrow. Hold, please. Here, actually, oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Word from the sponsor.
Are you buying and selling cryptos on the same laptop that you're using to browse the internet, read your email, and visit social media sites? If so, you're exposing your cryptos to theft. Whenever you're online, you're at risk of getting hacked and having your identity stolen. How would you feel if someone stole all of your cryptos? What would that do to your finances? Guard your cryptos with a safe and secure laptop from CALIX Solutions. Each laptop is set up just for you and your cryptos, and then we walk you through exactly how it works. Don't risk the security of your cryptos. Order a crypto laptop from CALIX Solutions now to secure your crypto future. Learn more at calixsolutions.io.
And we're over to the private server. All right. Bye-bye, guys. Except for those on the private server. righty. Bonus round. Oh, yeah. But actually, I only got about a half hour because I have lunch with a few advertisers.
Okay. Eric Pendleton got we got everything in place for that pixel
Awesome.
for the ad, so that's in place.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, everyone watching. We are coming up on some crazy shit from Washington. Patrick, I've been waiting to talk to you about this for when we were in the pool, we kind of touched on a few things. But is this Hunter Biden thing, is this not the biggest anybody who is deliberately misleading the pub? Have you seen how many Republicans are now like, wait, so this is real? Now, that's why Trump put out the truth. Any Republicans who do not call this out,
Like Mitch McConnell,
like,
Turtle Boy.
Yeah, also known as like Mr. Freeze. Should be primaried immediately because it is so odd. Did you hear what happened? The Republicans witness Hunter Biden's part.
Devin Archer.
Right. They want to send him to jail before he can testify.
Well, on Saturday, he received notification that he should be ready to surrender himself, even though the judge hasn't completed the adjudication of his sentence. They haven't arrived at a decision as to the date when it's supposed to start. Yeah, it's kind of funny, and that was not at all intended to be a message sent to him before he testified in front of that, was it? No.
No,
They weren't sending him a message.
No message there.
Yeah. See, if it was the Clintons, he'd be dead by now.
Well, he's definitely in protective custody.
Well, he left both residents, and I think he said something about having left his phone at one of them because he didn't want him to be able to ping his location. And the fact that the DOJ was behind this. But no, they've not been weaponized.
Absolutely not.
No. They're an unbiased, objective.
Just doing our job, folks. Just following the book.
And
letter of the law.
Yeah, Merrick Garland doesn't have a bug the size of a football helmet up his ass about not having been appointed as a U.S. Supreme Court justice, does he? No.
It is getting so obvious to so many. I was watching Bloomberg. There's a show around noon while I was listening to it / watching it on the drive down yesterday. they're tripping over themselves trying to talk about the Hunter Biden thing without telling the truth, but yet not lying. This poor lawyer was well, it seems as if the proposed evidence against Hunter and the president is relatively significant, and this guy's like, how the hell am I supposed to say any of this
Right.
and
Yeah.
be taken seriously?
Yeah. Yeah. Because I'm a Democrat and I'm a plaintiff's attorney. Yeah.
Yeah, and yet, but when they're like Trump said this is his 15th time getting, charges filed against him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when you have a kangaroo justice system, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's going to mount. Yeah.
And,
But at the same time, the stuff that they're saying that Trump did in terms of the document possession was something that Biden did back when he was a senator and never had the ability to declassify a document whatsoever. But he had that crap in his possession while a U.S. senator and turned it over to the state of, what is it, Delaware?
yeah.
Yeah. The Penn Biden library.
It's all bull. And these new charges with Trump and his like maintenance guy.
Yeah.
They're charging both of them with conspiracy to destroy evidence and lie to the FBI.
But those tapes were turned over.
Right. And the conversation that the maintenance guy had that was supposedly him talking about deleting the video is he told the security company not to delete the video. And that's the smoking gun. So in the media, how do they phrase it? He was part of a conspiracy that discussed the deletion or the possibility of deleting the video. When he's like, no, I told him not to delete it.
What is this, the Minority Report?
Yeah, it's
people for thoughts.
They twist the words, and they're like, so you did discuss whether or not to delete the video? Yes, I told them not to, because we don't keep videos longer than a year. So when they asked me, should I save these videos or not, I told them yes, save the videos. And they twist it like he's trying to hide something. And he's like, no, I'm actually doing the complete opposite.
Right. And so he's free on $100,000 bond.
And the judges are now seeing all this bullshit. That's what happened with the judge with the other case.
With Hunter Biden?
Yeah.
The plea deal?
Yeah, it's like
there was the plea deal. There was the plea deal, and then he had the The other part of it was the agreement on the felony gun charge, that he would be, what do they call it? Anyway, they buried the language in that portion of it, as opposed to the plea agreement on the tax evasion. Now, thinking that the judge wouldn't read it and would sign off on it because it would provide him with get out of jail free cards for the rest of his life.
Yep. Yeah. Complete immunity.
Yeah. And that's why she threw a conniption fit and said, no, this isn't any good. How do you plead? Guilty, not guilty. There's a possibility that they'll come back with another plea of some sort, but it won't, and it won't be the justice that you and I would get.
Oh, hell no.
Nope. Yeah. We'll see what happens. She was a Trump appointee, so it's possible she might be waving middle fingers at him.
The judges Trump put in place are just honest judges. They aren't pro-Trump. They aren't pro-Republican. They're just judging off of their judicial history. They were found to be fair and competent in their rulings. That's it. That they didn't legislate from the bench.
Right.
They weren't activist judges. That's it.
Right.
And when you have plus, let's also remember Hunter Biden's lawyers. One of the lawyers called the clerk's office and tried to get them to throw away the testimony of the witness.
Oh, there was an amicus brief that was filed.
Yeah.
And she said that she was part of the party that had filed the amicus brief. And wanted to have it removed. She can be disbarred for that.
Oh, as she should be.
That's correct.
Hey, I'm going to hop off here for like 2 minutes. I'll be right back.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that was an interesting turn of events where, Biden actually had, his legal team had 2 instances where they got caught pink-assed by the actions of their own behavior. One of them was they caught one of the guys and his legal team smoking a bong. They had a picture of him smoking weed through a bong, and then the woman on the legal team calls up and says that she was working on behalf of the party that filed the amicus brief to be part of the actions against Hunter Biden, and got caught for it. The clerk actually picked up on who it was, knew that it was somebody who was fraudulently portraying themselves as a member of the party filing the amicus brief, which is, this is going to be fun to watch how that gets disentangled and then pursued. Of course, whether or not that happens remains to be seen. And I don't know when the guy was smoking the weed, whether or not that was in a state that allows for it. That's secondary. I mean, he's working on Hunter's case. How many pictures of Hunter do we have hitting the pipe? So birds of a feather, right? Not surprising whatsoever. But I guess there's some. They're going to come back in August for an arraignment on Hunter, and we'll see what comes of that. And interestingly, Ben was talking about how there are so many Republicans coming around, going, "This thing's real, really." What I found interesting was they finally admit that Navy London is the granddaughter. So the pressure in terms of the polls and everything else must have been significant to get Jill and Joe to come off that dime and admit the fact that she is a grandchild of theirs. And probably the best thing of it is this kid's probably going to grow up to be probably more morally centered than any of the Biden grandchildren, the other 6, which would be absolutely hysterical. I mean, everybody seeks redemption at some point in their life, and mom's evidently has taken that path and is raising her child the right way, back at home in Arkansas, away from Sodom and Gomorrah. So the kid has a chance. I thought it was interesting that she wanted her to have the Biden last name, which in my book will be the kiss of death for generations to come. It will be the scarlet letter. But that's something to be seen in the future. But I think they threw that one out there about saying, "Oh yeah, that's our 7th grandchild." Late in the week, I think it was close to a Friday when they did it, if it wasn't on a Friday, so that they got that word out, but it also acted as a distraction about with respect to what's going on with Hunter. So weasels, all of them, weasels.
It's absolutely a shit show. It's criminal. This whole damn thing, and like Trump said, that as this all comes out, mark my words, when this is all said and done, Nixon is going to be validated. People are going to go, I get it. Because Watergate was about JFK. Watergate was about all of this. How the progressive movement was infiltrated or was infiltrating the government, how the CIA was set up, Operation Paperclip. Remember, back in the 70s, although Operation Paperclip is well known to us now, and they admit it, oh yeah, we shipped over a ton of Germans, a ton of Nazis, put them in the universities, put them in, the newspapers and the television channels.
The head of NASA. The head of NASA.
Yeah, the head of NASA was a
in the bioweapons field at Fort Detrick.
Yep.
In Maryland. It was a guy named I think it was Blome, Blome, was a former protege of Mengele, and was involved in the program out of Nazi Germany, and then Ichi, the cat from Japan.
Yeah.
He headed up their biological weapons program, but primarily using mosquitoes to transmit malaria, which would have been tough. It sounds like a flea training technique to me, but okay, guys, you need to go over there, fly around and bite.
Go get them, little fellas.
Yeah. But the fact that they brought him in too, I mean, what are you doing associating yourselves with these?
Yeah, and see, look this up. They proved the bones that they claim were Hitler's. What? It was a female.
He may have been transitioning.
Well, that still don't change your DNA.
He had one
What?
nut. He had one nut. He was halfway there.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, well, he was on a payment program. He couldn't afford the whole surgery at once.
One nut at a time.
One nut at a time. But yeah, so Hitler, they oh God, the FBI, they declassified it, and they basically said Hitler went to
Brazil, Argentina.
Brazil, yeah, and it's like, yeah, so we didn't, we just lied because Hitler was actually under our control. We handled both sides of the war. So we just, shit happens. That's in the past. We're good bad guys now.
We're a better, kinder, gentler bad guy.
Yeah. We don't want to kill you that fast. I mean, we said we'd give you bugs.
I'd like you. I'll kill you last. Yeah.
Yeah. And think about you're not going to own anything, but you'll be happy through all of the medications and the drugs we feed you.
Right.
It's now, see, this is when you know it's getting ridiculous. They're putting out legitimate UFO stuff. Legitimate.
You're saying that on my behalf, right?
No. Patrick, when the woo-woo shit really comes out, it's just gonna pop. You're gonna do this. No.
No, I have seen it, and as woo woo goes, I don't have a problem with UFOs.
Yeah.
Believing that they exist, that it's credible. I mean, to think that we are the most advanced civilization in the entire universe it's insane to go there.
Yeah.
But now we're calling it something else. We're not calling them UFOs. We're calling them UHF, UAFs, or UABs. In fact, just stick with it, okay? Or Foo Fighters. Go back to the original.
Yeah.
Well, those were the guys who were chasing them. I'm sorry.
Right. I've had people reach out on, like, God, was it Patreon or Twitter? Somewhere. So now that we know there's aliens, are you still a Christian?
Who said that?
It was either a guy on Patreon or Twitter. And I replied back, yeah, why wouldn't I be? I mean, if you're God, and And Patrick is a huge fan of like galaxies and stars and looking up at the, doing all that stuff. Anyone with half a brain would look up and go, well, yeah, odds are we're probably not alone.
No.
But that's still part of God's creation. It's like it's like walking into a Walmart and looking at one product and go, yeah, but there's no Walmart. What? No, it's God created the heavens and the earth. There's a reason it says heavens. And the firmament was the creation of the earth. That doesn't mean he didn't create other shit. You look at the older books, and it talks about the others. It's as a Catholic, I believe the teachings of Jesus Christ here on earth.
Correct.
And how to live my life through his teachings. Right? That's how does this change anything? It doesn't. In fact, it makes more sense now. It's like, boy, if God just made us,
Yeah.
I'm hoping he made something a little bit better.
Yeah. Well,
like, is there a 2.0 version?
We've got a couple of different laboratories running. I think there's a number of test tubes out there. So
yeah, and it's. I think that we were created for this atmosphere of Earth, and that our bodies would function on oxygen and water and all these. He even if like there was help from another species to create us, who says God doesn't have others working for him like we work for him? God works through all of us. So even if it comes out that some more sophisticated creature came to Earth and created us so we would live on this planet, that still doesn't mean there isn't a God. It's like how we have created on Earth, right? Humans created laptops. Does that mean God doesn't exist? No. Humans have genetically modified dogs, horses, through breeding. Right. So does that mean God doesn't exist because we manipulated genetics in animals?
Right.
It's all part of creation. I mean, and it makes more sense now, because then I think a lot of people couldn't understand God because it seemed too big for them. That God, one entity could not have created all of this. He could if he had others who he created that was sent out to populate the. Because what does the Bible tell us? Go out and reproduce.
Go forth and multiply.
Right, go forth and multiply.
Yeah, but he's certainly capable of doing all this on his own. He doesn't, I mean, the notion that he has his minions.
Well, it's, but think about it logically. If you're gonna, God doesn't wear a watch, all right? He's not sitting there looking at a fucking, ticker.
He's ever present.
Right. He's everywhere.
Right. All time.
Right. So what would be the best way to create? You do it slow. You let what you created, nature, evolve in the balance of nature. And that's how God creates. God creates letting what he created go out and create through his actual gift of free will. And that's why God's not responsible for a shooting. That's why God's not responsible. We're all part of a bigger plan. The alien thing just shows us a little bit bigger glimpse of God's plan. Remember like 3,000 or 4,000 years ago?
That's
right?
A little before my time.
A little, not much. Right? But there was a point where we thought that we had to all kneel to a king and be subservient to a king to please our God, and that only the king had sovereignty, that we didn't have sovereignty until Jesus. Jesus died for our sins and showed us our sovereignty with God, our individual relationship with God. Before that, you were nothing. That's how the kings treated you.
Right.
You didn't have a relationship with God. You weren't allowed. It was illegal to let you learn how to read, because all of the doctrine had to come from the king. And this is just God's, and what I think's going on is God's trying to give us a little hint and go, You guys are about to go through some bad times. But don't worry. There's a bigger plan. This is going to be tough, but only through trials and tribulations do you grow. You don't gain any friggin' muscle unless you rip muscle.
True. Got to break it down to build it up.
Exactly. God is uniting his people of earth and brushing away the evil of the earth that runs shit right now. And how's he doing it? All he's doing is revealing the truth. Revelations. That's all that Revelations is revealing the truth. What is Trump doing? What are we seeing? All we're being shown is the truth. And that's what we as humans need to see. And once we go through this shit show of lies, and it's going to take us 10, 15, 20 years to really grasp what's been done to us.
I think it's going to be longer than that because there's a reckoning that needs to take place in terms of the division that's been created and those who've been responsible for it. And I don't think any of us who are on the right side cotton to the way that it's been meted out. Nope. And the notion that it's going to be resolved in a congenial and compassionate fashion is far from what the reality is going to be.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think for this to really have a solid meaning, people are going to have to swing, hang, get executed?
Yeah, I know what you mean, and I don't know that it needs to go that far. But I think to your point, I think there are a good portion of people that say the violence that's been committed in the name of the state and justice and righteousness has been a lie, and that somebody has to account for it. And if it means you have to account for it with your life, that's going to be how some people are going to be appeased. That's the price that's going to have to be paid. I don't think so. I don't think it needs to go that far. I think there are some really nice hotels like in Leavenworth,
Guantanamo,
that have.
Isn't it odd how Trump added on to that and made it bigger? And, well, they cleaned it up for him though.
Well, there is a block house in Leavenworth. I think it's G block, if I remember correctly. It has one door. It is 4 stories high, if memory serves me correct. And there is one door. And in front of that door, I believe there are 3 towers that the marksmen sit up inside of. Leavenworth is a badass prison.
Is it?
It is a badass prison. That's where they used to go before Alcatraz was created. Leavenworth was
really
the place, yeah. And then Alcatraz came along, and now it's both Marion, Illinois, has a Supermax, and there's one in Colorado.
Is
One in Colorado.
Is Marion South?
Yes.
Yeah.
Along
Yeah,
57. Along 57.
Yep. The home of Popeye.
Yes.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
John Gotti was there. There were a number of
Yep.
badasses that were in there. Gotti got his lunch handed to him in there. The AB decided that they were going to extort protection money out of the Gotti family, and said $30,000 a month and he'll stay above ground. And they said, fuck you. We're the mob. You're not going to take money from us. Yeah, well, yeah, and it's locked down 23 hours a day. And this big black guy's walking around pushing the library cart, and he asks John Gotti if he's interested in the book. And Gotti commenced to get his ass whooped severely. And the AB got $30,000 a month going forward.
My uncle, God rest his soul, he was not all there. He was a little on the slow side. He was in prison for murder. And when he got out, my grandmother had this big party. And I remember this vividly because I was about 14 when he got out. And we were sitting at this, my grandmother's house and basement had like this 1961, like fucking, it had the bar with the Christmas lights and all the crap. And I remember him saying, I thought I'd have trouble in there, but all I had to do was join the Nazis and they were ready to, and I was pretty good. And he had a swastika on his shoulder that he didn't have before he went in.
No.
And he'd say the Aryan Brotherhood, just that's theirs. That there is no, there's, and and I'm not saying the Aryan Brotherhood is good, all right, but as long as you kept to yourself and you didn't get in their business, they had no problems with the other races.
Yeah, and a lot of it depends on the state where it takes place. Now, if it's a federal facility, you're not going to avoid it. You're not going to avoid it. You're going to have to join a side. And if you're fish belly white like me, you're going to have to get the AB put on you somewhere.
Yep.
Otherwise, you're not part of the club. And if you're not part of the club, then you become part of the fodder.
Yep.
And I know a couple of guys that went in, and just like your uncle, they got inked in order to get protected.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's because there is no just putting your head down and doing your time.
No, because if you wanted to do that, you'd have to go to the SHU, and you do not want to go to the SHU.
Especially a federal one.
Right.
Because they'll forget all about your ass.
That's a fact. And the thing is, you can go in there as sane as you and I, and you're not coming out that way.
Nope.
You are not coming out that way.
I remember and if you guys want to look at this, is a spooky story that this was in the 80s or the early 90s, that they had put someone in solitary. They forgot about him.
Yeah.
They found him a year later because they were going to put some desks in this room. Open the door, and there's old boy laying there.
Oh yeah. 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 Got bones.
Poor
Just
son
nothing but
of a
skeleton.
bitch starved to death.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how bad prison food is.
No, thank you. I'll starve.
Yeah. 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 That's a fact. Davy Jones protecting the locker down there in Solitaire.
Yeah, that's it. It's all prison's a whole. Watch a documentary on. Oh, you want to see a good one? I watched one a while back. I think the name of the documentary is Mexico's Worst Prison.
Oh boy. Yeah. Anything. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Anything in a foreign country is going to be far worse than what you could get here.
Now, mind you, they call it an open jail, right? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Dude, it is the survival of the fittest.
Absolutely.
On an extreme you can't even imagine.
Yeah, and the thing is, people get out of those prisons, they don't last long.
No.
Because it's comparable to having been in the military and done 4 or 5 tours. You know, you get out after being in combat, so I've been told. There's nothing that compares to it, and so that becomes your norm. And now you're put back in society, and oh hey, there are no killing companies hiring this month. What am I going to do? You know, so somebody who's been in the Mexican prison for 10, 12 years, the sentence is up. He's back out. He's got one way to go. Yep. And that's to be a strong arm guy for a cartel.
Yep.
Because that's all he's done. And he's got to stay on top of his game because he knows he's going back in.
Yep. And they were showing how if you're a young guy and you go to prison, that you look at that prison time as your training.
That's right. That's right.
And you build the relationships in prison that will get you employment
right
on the outside.
If you were
like Joey sent me,
yeah.
I was, in there and Jose and Hose B, they're my references.
Well, to that point though, that was actually how guys in the American mob made their bones when they were young. I mean, you go into a prison and you made connections. And if you didn't know how to get into a Brinks security system before you got in there, you knew when you got out. When I was working in the jail, there was a map. There was an electric blueprint of a Brinks alarm system drawn on the wall. Yes.
Well, they were teaching a class. They needed a chalkboard. They were
teaching. Yeah.
It's humans are so strange. We are so what's the word, like malleable?
Yes. Yeah.
You put us in any environment and we will alter ourselves to survive in that environment if we have enough time to learn the environment.
Right.
And it's extremely interesting how humans are capable, but that also proves the existence of God. See, Cliff High and I, Cliff agrees that we were placed on Earth, that we didn't climb out of the fucking sludge, right? We didn't crawl out of an ocean as a blob of goo, that we were placed here because humans, as we physically are not created, and we do not look, and we are not made in a way that evolution would have chosen for us. We would be much hairier. We would have adapted. We would be a monkey. That's it. We, those from the northern parts we would look like Sasquatch, right? Because of the climate. Like it's just, so humans were absolutely put here, and he'll agree to that, but he won't agree that there's a God. And I'm like, well, if someone put us here, who's that someone? Oh, aliens. Oh, okay. Well, who created the aliens? Something had to create the first thing.
Yeah.
Whatever that was, there had to be a consciousness to create it. Because something cannot be created out of nothing without intent of creation. Right? God can create anything with his intent to create it. That's all he needs, is his want to creates it. And like I said, God don't wear a watch. I look at it like this: the Bible and the early teachings and the early documents, people look at that and then look at where we're at. Like, where we're at is the finish line. Like, God went, all right, I'm done. There you go. No. We are part of the recipe that God created for God's will. It's all moving towards God's will. We have no idea what that outcome is, or if there is even an outcome. Right? I look at the earth as a portion of the recipe. Like, God's making lasagna, earth is one of the noodles. And we're just sitting there being a noodle. And initially we thought we were the only noodle. Now all of a sudden we see a little bit of sauce in the saucers. And we're like, well, that's odd. But we don't have the large enough view to see that God's making lasagna. So we're just a curious noodle trying to figure out why we exist. And each human is a molecule of that noodle. And the humans don't know that they're actually part of a bigger noodle. So we look at each other and go, well, why do we exist? Not seeing that humans are a larger noodle that goes into a larger recipe. And I think this whole UFO thing is God showing us, you guys are just one noodle. Now get your fucking noodle together and move forward from here. Right? And in order to cook the noodle, God's got to let us boil a little bit.
Yeah, well, we screw it up. He's going to say, all of you, out of the pool.
Yeah, no doubt. That's why God added water. The flood. He's just boiling the noodles.
All right. You got a lunch to go to?
Yeah. Yep. I have to be there in about 28 minutes.
Here's one thing I want to bring us back to when we were talking about the whole Biden situation.
Yeah.
Robert Kennedy Jr. does not have Secret Service protection. He applied for it. And the Biden administration, by way of the Secret Service, said, request denied. It's pretty much standard practice for anybody who's announced that they're going to be a presidential candidate, is that they get Secret Service protection.
Yep.
Mr. Kennedy does not.
Now, do you think that they're going to try and take him out? Because they can't have those two friggin' debate. They can't.
No, they can't. But if I'm Biden, I'm giving him that protection, because if anything happens to him, it reflects on me. You got it. I mean, to him, Robert Kennedy has to be treated like an egg. I mean,
Yeah.
You cannot let that break. Otherwise, you're screwed.
What in his position, it almost makes me think that that's part of the plan. Is, look, if it comes down to it, just like JFK, just like JFK's son, remember he died in a plane crash so Hillary could get elected up in New York. He was running for the same seat.
Correct.
That Hillary was. And you don't think that JFK's son would have made it to the presidency?
Oh, absolutely.
And Trump knew JFK Jr. I mean, they ran in the same circles. let's remember Trump was close friends with friggin' Nixon. They'd write each other letters. I mean, and Nixon knew JFK and helped. Well, once JFK was elected, Goldwater, Reagan, Nixon, they all knew that JFK wasn't the chosen one. Well, number one, he was Catholic. That right there kind of fucked everyone up. And they knew that JFK was pushing too hard in the wrong direction where he was going to get snipped. You know,
Well, he was, he had too many fronts there where he was pissing people off. Absolutely.
Yeah, and as soon as he released, or as soon as he created the Kennedy dollar, that was it. He's done. A month and a half later, he's dead. And what's the first thing old Lyndon B. Johnson does? Rakes those back into the treasury.
Yeah. Well,
there's some
food for thought.
I mean, if RFK winds up getting JFK'd, I think all hell's gonna break loose.
Oh yeah, there's no avoiding that stink. Yep.
Because RFK's got a lot of friends now. There's a lot of people looking at him closely.
Yeah.
And now it's 16 minutes away. One quick question. If you had Trump's ear, who would you recommend for vice president?
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the dust has to settle here. It has to. So we're past the primaries. Everybody has run their course, and it's shaken out, and it ends up that Trump is the top dog. He has to tap DeSantis.
Really, you think?
He has to.
Trump's gonna win Florida. Absolutely, no question.
But now here's my point. You're putting training wheels on DeSantis. Trump knows he's already had one. This is his last go round. Those two bury the hatchet, and they create a team, an administration that really can't be stopped. Because DeSantis he's far more logical about things than Trump is. Trump he's too aggressive, he's too abrasive, and DeSantis is more thoughtful, I believe. Now, is he emotional? Yes. He's passionate. He doesn't pull any punches. He's not a bullshitter, and that's what people want.
I think that Trump understands now that he has to have a VP with balls as big as his.
That's DeSantis. And people in the comments are saying something about RFK. No, it wouldn't wash.
No,
that is an oil and water combination.
I could definitely see Trump asking RFK to work with him in his
I agree
like
with that. I agree with that. But he would unsettle his base if he went to RFK.
I don't think well
I think he would.
yes, as vice president, yes,
Yeah.
I agree. Because RFK he's not aligned with us with the Second Amendment.
Not the Second Amendment, not abortion.
Yeah.
A number of things that he's left.
Mm-hmm. But I would appoint RFK
to the CDC.
Yes. And just say, blow that motherfucker up. And he'd go in there and just clean house.
Or he could go into the DOJ. One of the two.
No. I think the DOJ, who Trump's gonna put is oh God, what's the guy's name?
Colonel Mustard?
No, shit. He's a general who just got put through the ringer. Flynn.
Oh.
Because he knows Flynn knows where the bodies are buried.
Right.
Absolutely. And I think you put him in charge. Hell, you hop him around a few places. You put him in charge of DOJ, clean out that swamp. Then you put him in the Pentagon and let him just fuck the Pentagon up. Because there's
it's already there. It's already there. They'd have to pull out all the DEI bullshit, and all the trannies should be gone at that point.
What?
Yeah.
You don't want
no drag shows. No.
Some drag queen handling our nuclear program? You sexist. No,
that's not sexist. That's not sexist. I'm a genderist.
A genderist. That's what it is.
I'm bigoted. I'm bigoted against people that decide that they're not what their genes say that they are.
Yeah, it's you could put. Why can't they just be like Lyndon B. Johnson? Just dress up like a woman.
No, that was Hoover. That was Edgar Hoover.
Oh yeah, Hoover.
Yeah, not Johnson. Johnson had other issues.
Yeah, he used to walk around waving his dick around, which apparently the size of a baby leg.
Yeah. Well, not just that. He also installed a phone inside the bathroom in the Oval Office. And it was not uncommon for him to get on the phone while he's evacuating his bowels. Yeah.
Oh, good Lord.
That's down home Texan.
Cash Patel would be good at the justice. I agree with that.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to wrap this up, guys. Patrick, great show. Once again, guys, join the new service over at CALIX Solutions. Go over there, look at them, and that's access to answers that are researched answers that you're not going to get a response of, yeah. You know, it's weird. Oh, yes. Thank you, Austin. It's there to be used, guys and gals, so that when you have an emergency, you have a place you can go, and it's a service, so you know that your 911 is taken seriously.
And to that point, though, the inverse is we have been answering questions that people would ask us on a regular basis, technical questions.
We can't do that no more.
We can't do that. We have this service, and we are answering the questions and providing people with information who are subscribers to this service. And so they become the focus. If you have questions, that's what you're going to have to do, is to sign up for that service. Understand?
And I can definitely see our lawyers saying, look, now that you have this service, you cannot give out advice outside of this service.
Now, that doesn't mean you when you get the laptops, you get the Zoom call. You know, there's access to the portal that will tell you how to set everything up, how to do additional things. That's going to be providing you with information on an ongoing basis. If there's a couple of folks that say, hey, I would like to see a video on this, we'll make that video and put it in the portal. But when it comes to answering the question immediately, helping you identify, where to stake ontology or Cosmos or Algorand and how to do it so that you don't have to hardwire your laptop into the modem and run it 24/7. Those are questions with respect to the crypto laptop side of things that we'll gladly provide you with as a result of having signed up for the helpline. But you ask us that out of the blue and you want a subscriber, the answer is DYOR.
Join.
Do your own research. And if you join, you won't have to.
There's a wealth of information. You just got to join. Love you guys. See you guys tomorrow. Patrick, I'll talk to you later, brother. I know you guys get to do.
Yep.
All right, we're out.
Take care, everybody.